Hey, what's up guys? It's Lucas Casper here again. Over the years, I've tested a whole bunch of different ways to varnish my artwork, and there's some things that have gone like diabolically wrong, and I thought it'd just be awesome to share that with you so you don't have to run into the same mistakes that I made like early on and sort of figuring out what works and what doesn't. The two that you run into mostly is like brush on varnish and spray varnish. So for example, this is a brush on varnish right here. It's an Acrylic brand. It's a satin finish, and I'll explain all that in a second. But over here you have a spray varnish. This is Loop, so that's actually a graffiti style paint. They came out with a varnish that I quite like. Both of these things are going to work in different ways depending on what you need. Either one will be great for you to increase the longevity of your work. It does offer like a form of UV resistance, so if someone's hanging this in like a well-lit area and they hang it for 10 years or whatever, if you're not using like high quality materials like exterior style paint, they can fade. And that's something to really consider. So varnish is really good to increase the lifespan. And another thing, it's just like a little bit more minor, but it's good. It also offers like a bit of a barrier to damage. If you're gonna scuff paint or drop a painting or whatever, make a mistake here and there, it does offer like a little bit of protection. It does, not heaps, you're not going to avoid a paint drip or a scratch or something crazy, but it does give you that little bit of protection. And the third great thing about any varnish is basically like the finish that it gives you, that sheen over the top, that nice like professional finish to it. Varnish is just amazing for that. And another thing on that is, sometimes when you use different mediums, which I do, I'll go from spray paint to brush paint to Poscas. Some may finish a little bit more matte. Some may finish a little bit more like glossy. If you put on a finish, it'll usually just flatten everything out to be one similar visual. That's huge for making your stuff look professional. So varnishes are really great for that. Just bringing everything to the same level and giving you that quality finish. And I've mentioned a lot here already about, been saying satin and matte and gloss and all that. Matte is the flattest one that you'll get. Satin is in the middle and gloss is the shiniest. There's a few different brands that have different variations within this, but I'll just talk about the main three because it's like small, medium, large. It's just a nice, easy bracket. And surprisingly enough, I don't use gloss varnish. I don't even use satin varnish. That's why this thing is still quite full, and it has been for years. I mostly use matte. I usually use it within the spray brand. The brand I used to use back in the day was called Micador, and they had a matte spray varnish as well. It's sort of like a controversial opinion on what type of finish is best and all that stuff, but from my personal experience, where I've been coating canvases and skateboard works and smaller things, sculptures, everything, I've really found matte is the most consistent. Even though it's like advertised as matte, it's not as flat as you would think. And I have some examples here to show you exactly what I mean by that. Two smaller works I can just hold up in front of the camera easily. This is a little timber sculpture painting thing I did, right? And this has been matte varnished. So I'll show you here, if I use the sun, it still has that sheen. What you can do when it comes to the coating of matte varnish to get the type of finish that you want to get is just by adding more layers. So what I'll usually do with a painting is I'll coat it maybe 2 or 3 times, and every time you put that layer on top, it will add that little minor bit of sheen. Years ago, I started thinking, okay, I'm gonna use gloss. It's gonna be like a crystal coat finish. It's gonna look absolutely amazing. But what I found is it almost made my painting look like it's like really high contrast. If you looked at it from an angle, the blacks had that much shine on it that they look like white, or the color changed. But I find with the matte finish, the colors remain true. And if you see it on that angle, you still get that like crisp look of that sheen on top. And it's not too much. Another example here, this spray can has also been matte sealed. So you can see that's got a bit of that shine to it too. The big thing there with just getting that like consistent finish is using the right gear for it. Not all of you will have the privilege of being able to do this because sometimes spray cans come with the wick already in them. But you can see here with this spray can, the cap system is a plug-in. Because this is like graffiti style paint. This is what you'll find with all these cans. And you will actually find with a lot of spray varnishes too. But if it does, what I'd suggest is getting a chisel. A cap that's gonna give you like a fan paint like this. You don't want one that's dotted because the consistency will just be a little bit off as you're going. If you can imagine painting, say, a wall, like people don't use rounded rollers to paint a wall. They also don't use like a rounded spray gun to paint a wall. If you want that smooth consistency, you want the chisel. And it's exactly the same with this. Oddly enough, these come with just like a bullet point cap, circular dot. So I take that straight off, I put the chisel on, and it gives you that nice consistency. That's a bit about what I like and the reasons why I like it. I've had some like major hiccups along the way, so I want to just mention these a little bit so you can maybe learn from this and not make the mistake. And it's going to be broken down into 3 mediums. One's going to be spray painting, one's going to be Posca pens, so paint pens, and then the third one's just going to be like straight acrylic painting. So no oil here, I don't touch it, so I'm not going to lead you astray with that. So firstly, the Posca pens. I've had one meltdown with this. If I was you using Poscas, I would never brush on with this stuff. Unless you're gonna leave it to cure for a very long time, it may be a different situation, but for me, I tend to finish a painting and then I wanna varnish it the day after, 2 days after, whatever. I did a skateboard piece many years ago now that I absolutely loved. I did it all with Poscas. And when I put this on and I started brushing it around, it actually reactivated the Poscas and it started smearing all over the whole piece. The second big thing with Poscas is if you're finishing it with a spray varnish, what I've found can happen too, if you spray on a thick layer of varnish straight away, you'll actually see little like bubble marks, not raised, but the color changes. It's like it reacts to that paint. A way around that is to basically have your first layer of spray varnish be really like loose, just mist. It almost adds that like thin barrier for the rest of your spray varnish to go onto, and that's the way that I've found a way around that. So thin to begin with, just let it sit on there. Don't just like smash it straight away, and then just layer up. So the second one would be spray paint, and there's some points within this where this will outrank your spray varnish. The first thing that makes that true is the size of the canvas or surface that you're going to be varnishing. If you have a big 1.5 by 1.5 meter canvas or timber panel or whatever, and you want to start varnishing it with a spray can, it's going to be so hard for you to get a consistent line all the way down. A good way around that would be using the brush on varnish. Instead of using a brush, you can use a roller as well. If you have a big, beautiful brush, go for it with that. That's great also, but you will get brush strokes within your piece, especially if you're using a gloss varnish. That's going to be a problem that you're going to run into. But a way around this would be to use rollers. There's 2 examples I have here. One's just your standard roller like this, like a wall roller. They're okay if they're like a fine grade roller. You don't want a big chunky thing that's going to leave a bunch of thick paint on your canvas. Another way, if you want to go on really smooth, is with these, because these are foam rollers. It doesn't get much smoother than this with the outcome. Yeah, you can see like the look of that. It's just super smooth. This is like a smaller roller. You can get ones that are this long, which are great for larger canvases, and you can just dunk that into a roller tray, roll it up, and put it on. And another thing with spray painting artwork, if you're painting with misting colors over other colors lightly, quite often you might find that the paint will slowly fall onto the canvas and it'll create like a dust. You're gonna experience this big time when it comes to working with one brand in particular, which is called Montana 94. That offers so much dust on your canvas to the point where, if you were to run your hand along it, your whole hand would be coated. All the paint underneath would be set, but it just has this dried up surface that's sitting on top. You know, let's say you're rolling on for a big gigantic spray piece that you've done. As you're rolling, that roller is going to pick up all those little fine sort of granules of spray paint, and it's going to roll it over your whole piece. The best thing that you can do before varnishing in any way is to just brush that canvas down, make sure it's ready to be varnished before you take the plunge and make the mistake. And then the third and last medium would just be acrylic paint. The good news with this part of the tip is you're all good. Go for it. Acrylic paint is really, really easy to work with when it comes to varnishing. I've never really experienced many problems whatsoever. As long as the paint's dry and cured, you are ready to go on it with the brush on, the spray paint, whatever you like, and just go directly over that. That's a little bit of my personal experience, the type of outcomes you can get with things, and yeah, my preference. You may be different. You're gonna have to learn and practice yourself to figure out what works for you. But hopefully this video might have helped you a little bit with, you know, avoiding that little speed bump here and there, or just to get you started on finishing your artwork. So that's about it for me today. If you want to learn some more art techniques, tutorials, videos, all that type of stuff, my channel's filled with it. So go check it out, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.